Good afternoon, dear students. Let us have a continuation of the lesson that we have been discussing for the last 2 days, the concluding part of stone cutter. The concluding part is very important. You know why? You see, the stone cutter, we have already discussed about the stone cutter becoming a prince. And then afterwards, the stone cutter wanted to become the sun because the prince was suffering with the scorched sun. People's faces became brown. Though the prince was sitting comfortably in a carriage, the rays of the sun pierced through the umbrella or the canopy, so to say, and he experienced the sun. Therefore, the man said, "Now I would like to become the sun because the sun is greater than the prince." And then the voice which usually told him or granted him his wish said once again, "You shall become the sun." So the the stonecutter became the sun, and he burnt the grass, and he scorched all the faces of the people. There was drought everywhere, and he was very happy that now I am more powerful than the prince because I have become the sun. So, as he was speaking these words, saying that he was the sun and he was greater than the prince, a cloud covered his face. So you find clouds in the sky. So as the sun was there shining in the sky, a cloud covered his face. Now he became so upset. I thought that I was greater than the prince, and being the sun, I am very, very powerful. I have scorched the faces of men. I have scorched and burned the grasses. But a small cloud has come and covered my face, which means the cloud is mightier than me or stronger than me or has more power than me. Thinking that, he said, "I wish I were a cloud." Then, as usual, the voice behind him said, "A cloud you shall be." Now, when he became the cloud, he was very, very happy. A great joy was there in him. And he said, "Now that I am the cloud, I can water the whole earth. I can cause a great destruction." So he brought continuous rains, torrential rains. Because of the rains, many people, they lost their houses. There were floods, and the rivers were running in spate. Trees were uprooted, and a great destruction was caused. Great destruction. Houses were lost, people were lost, and only one thing remained solid amidst all this destruction. You know what that one thing was? It was none other than the mountain. The mountain was sturdy, it was strong, majestic, immovable. And the man looked at the mountain, and there were also rocks. And the man said, "Let me become a mountain, because the mountain remains unshaken even after the great floods and the destruction that has been caused." So now his wish was to become a rock or a mountain. And the voice behind him once again said, "A mountain you shall be." You'll become the mountain. That's your desire is granted. Your wish is granted. Become a mountain. So now he said, "Now nobody can shake me. I am the greatest of all God's creation. I am immovable. I am indestructible. Nobody can touch me now." And as he was saying these words, he heard a very funny sound. And he paid attention to the sound. He tried to see where the sound was coming from, and to his surprise, a stone cutter was driving his instrument into the mountain, maybe a chisel. He was trying to carve, or he was trying to break a piece of stone from that mountain. So he was using his instrument, and the noise of the instrument was heard. Now this upset our hero, that is the mountain, and he thinks, "A man has become mightier than me? How come?" So I would like to become a man once again. The moment he thought that he should become a man, the voice behind him said, come on, your wish is granted once again, and a man you shall be. And you see, he finally becomes a man. And like the stone cutter he was, he began to work very hard day in and day out. And he sweated and toiled and labored. And he found the work to be sweet. He found the fruit of his labor to be sweet. And he was quite satisfied by being a man. And with that, the lesson comes to an end. So you see, my dear students, a stone cutter who began his life in the beginning of the lesson, making statues, satisfying everybody, had a desire. He had lots and lots of desires, right? He wanted to become a prince. He wanted to become the sun. He wanted to become a rich man. He wanted to become the cloud. And then finally he wanted to become a mountain. Even with that stage, he wasn't satisfied because he found a man mightier than him. So finally what happens? He becomes the same stone cutter. Having gone through different stages, he finally comes to the same position where he once began his life. So this lesson gives us a very, very important message. You know, it's a didactic lesson. I've already discussed this word, I believe, with you, didactic. What do you mean by didactic? A kind of a lesson or a moral. It gives us a message. The lesson is didactic. It gives us a message. And what is the message? God knows what is good for you. So if God had thought that you would do better as a man, then He has made you a man. And you need to be satisfied with that position. Be happy with what you are. Be satisfied with what you are. And you make the best out of your life. Do not try to become somebody else. Do not compare yourself with somebody and then make your life miserable. I mean, the comparison that I mean is, you are feeling sad because you are not somebody. You don't have to feel that. You be the person who you are and try to achieve success in your life and make the best of your life. I've given you an example. A fish cannot aim to become a lion or a bird. A fish has to be happy with the state of being a fish. The same goes for every creature, and the same is applicable for all of us. We have to be satisfied with what God has given us, and being what we are, we need to achieve success and make the best out of our life. Then happiness comes. Happiness is being satisfied with what you are. Happiness is not, it is not dependent upon things. It is not materialistic. It is an inner quality, and if you are satisfied with what you have, well, you have found the secret of happiness, and life becomes smooth and you will have a longer life. The moment you think of becoming somebody and acquiring things, possessions, materials, then there is no end for that. Greed has no end. So be satisfied, be contented. Contentment is the best source of life. That is the best source of life. There is a saying. So if you are satisfied with what God has given you, you will live happier, you will live longer, and God knows what is good for you. So let us wind up this lesson with this fine thought, and tomorrow I'll be teaching you another lesson, that is Chief Seattle's speech. So stay safe and read the lesson and go through the questions and answers, the questions which are given at the back of the lesson. Very soon I will be sending you all the answers. Till we meet again, it's goodbye from here.